Shed talk nothing but shed talk, just us cogitating the issues and mulling over our thoughts.
Hi guys, and welcome to what I'm going to call Airability Shed Talk. And the idea behind this is trying to enable me to get some content out without it taking a full, 2/3 of a day to do a video with all the, the photographs and the slow-mo and stuff like that. And just talk to you about subjects around my world of airgunning and what I think about certain aspects of air gunning and airgun maintenance, etc. And hopefully, I was thinking that this would engage people in conversation in the Airability Facebook group. So please join that, and we can talk about the issues raised and see what other people feel and what other people do. Excuse me, I'm a bit hoarse this morning. Sunday morning. I'm only on about my third cup of coffee, but this is what Sunday mornings are about. Just, tinkering on in the shed, and I thought I'd share a little bit of my world with you. So this morning, what I thought I'd talk about was barrel cleaning, and there are many different views on barrel cleaning, as there probably are barrels in the world. So I thought I'd go and tell you about what I think and some of the equipment, and go through it, and we'll have a chat about it. So first of all, I think there's lots of equipment sold on, especially online, for cleaning airgun barrels. And I think what we've got to remember is that it's not like a rimfire or a full bore shooting where you leave all the deposits of burnt powder in your barrel and they have to be removed because they cause problems. You're pushing air, possibly a bit of moisture, some lead, and a smidgen of lubricant through your barrel. And it's a much different, way of cleaning it and frequency, etc. So first of all, when we're talking about what do we use to clean the barrel, I think, there are products like this. There are loads of them. This is really for rimfire stuff. This is to get all those, burnt deposits out your barrel. But I still think they've got something like that still has a small window of use in air gunning. When you first get an air gun, the barrel has a lot of packing grease in it with some makes, and they look quite dirty because they're there to preserve the barrel because it could be in storage an unknown amount of time waiting to be sold. Get yourself a good barrel cleaning fluid and absolutely scrub that barrel until the material that you're passing through comes out absolutely clean. And then that gives you a good point to start from and to assess the accuracy of the barrel. So for me, that's kind of the only time I use the more harsher products. I've got friends who use them all the time and they seem to work for them. And this is the point about barrel cleaning. You adjust your barrel cleaning to the rifle that you've got and what you can prove you get the best accuracy results. So when people say to you, I do it this way and you must do it this way, that just doesn't work. It works for them. It might work for you. It's worth a try. That's the most I'll say about people who tell you how it must be done. So how do I do it? So first of all, I have like a kind of Napier lubricant and cleaner here. It's great. I've had this can a million years. I think it might even be my first can. I've got a little can I take to tournaments. And then I have the standard pull through. And again, I've had this pull through years. It's got a little brass weight on it. You can tip your gun up and you feed it through your barrel. The brass weight comes out the end, and you feed some of these patches through the little string loop at the end to enable you to pull them through the barrel and clean the barrel. Now, what I tend to do is I put a tiny little bit of that spray Napier on and I pull it through the barrel. Remember, less is more. You don't want it leaking out the patches into the workings of your gun because that's not going to do it any good. if you choose the white patches from Napier, one side's rough and one side's smooth. And I find the first time that I push a patch through the barrel, I'll do it with the rough side and then the smooth side. So that's how I do it. So yeah, it's usually 2 patches for 177 to get the right thickness and resistance on the barrel, and 3 patches for 22. So I'm never without these. I've got a big woods of these. They do some blue ones, and I used the blue ones for years, but I noticed that a little while ago they kind of changed a little bit and became a little fatter, and they were very hard to pull through the barrel. And I changed to these white ones, which in the long run that I prefer because of the different textures. Because I felt I was pulling on the string too hard, and I didn't want to leave patches in the barrel if the string snapped. But yeah, so that's the equipment I use: the pull through and the patches and the Napier. Also, if you've got a silencer, you're going to have to remove it when you're dropping the weight through the barrel with the string attached. If you can't remove the silencer, you can use a drinking straw to bypass all those baffles and things in your silencer. It takes a bit, it's a bit more of a mess on, but it's doable. Now, I just wanted to touch on this. I've got one of these cleaning rods. I think nearly every airgunner at one point I bought one of these. What do I use it for? The most I use it for is knocking pellets out of people's rifles who jammed their rifles up. And other than that, it sits in the corner of my shed unused. So personally, I prefer the pull throughs if I can. Now, how often do I clean my barrel? Again, that is down to your barrel. I know one of my friends has never cleaned his barrel ever, and it's as accurate as can be. So that's one end of the spectrum. And then I know other shooters with slightly more fussy barrels do a dry pull through every 50 shots, and to keep them, on some. And I'm somewhere in the middle. So what I tend to do is I will pretty much leave my barrel alone during time in between competitions. And there's a point so many shots before I would start competition shooting that I do a full clean of my barrel, and then I lead it back in. And what's leading it back in is you remove the lead that's been deposited whilst you're shooting from the pellets in the barrel, and that gets removed when you clean the barrel. But some barrels rely on a little bit of that lead to make them accurate, so you've got to put a little bit of it back in, and that's called leading your barrel. And that can take between, on my hand shots, it used to be about 5 or 6 shots, and I've had some barrels of 50 shots. So again, it's down to the barrel that you use and trial and error to see what works best. One thing I do use is you might see these little felt pellets that you can use for cleaning. I wouldn't advocate them for deep cleaning. Now, I've got friends in the business of airguns, and their opinions about felt pellets rate from the absolutely without any use whatsoever to it's all you need in the airgun world for cleaning your barrel. Just put 2 in when you finish shooting, and that's all the barrel maintenance you'll ever need. Now, they're 2 extreme thoughts, and they clearly work for them with the guns that they've got. But for me, it's somewhere in the middle. I don't think you can do a deep clean with felt pellets. They just don't have the resistance and the time in the barrel to do that. I use them as kind of a maintenance clean, and I don't know how much of this is in my head and how much isn't, but I will put 2 in every time before I put the rifle away after I've shot it. And for me, that seems to keep the gun ticking over without having to do a deep clean and maintain the accuracy in most cases. Now, just a quick recap about my barrels. My barrels all have different cleaning regimes, and I find the anshut springs back very quick with very little having to lead the barrel in after I've cleaned it. Doesn't make an awful lot of difference cleaning the barrel with the anshut barrels, but I do find that there is a point, if I don't clean it after a few months, it just absolutely drops off the boil and it has to be done. But I never really get there. I usually clean it way beyond that point. I've got Lothar Wolfer barrels. They seem to be slightly less fussy about cleaning. Some of them can go on pretty much forever again. Although I do the maintenance cleans and keep them going. But what I do, and I don't know if it's psychological, like I said, I put these 2 pellets through every time I put my gun away, and I think that keeps the barrels ticking over nice and steady. Again, with the Lothar Wolfer barrels, there comes a point where you just feel as though you need to do it, and usually that's a good thing. The Lothar Wolfer barrels do need more leading in than the anshut barrels. They can be up to about 20 shots before they back on song for me. So anyway, that's a little insight into my little world and how I clean my barrels and things. And I'll keep dropping these little shed talk videos onto the Facebook group and YouTube and see what people think of them. And please join the Airability Facebook group and have a chat, because that's where that's where all our conversations happen about stuff. I don't really get on YouTube much to answer the questions in the comments. So please join the Facebook group and come and have a chat with us. There's a lot of nice, friendly, knowledgeable people in the group. Until then, guys, whether it's clean or dirty, keep living that airgun dream. Take care. Bye-bye.
Whatever you do, keep living.